From Commander.com, it's your tech news today for Monday, August 27th. I'm Mike James, and coming up in a bit, a whole slew of new Apple gadgets will make their way to market very soon, plus Google's new app that helps prevent data overages, and a massive data breach has exposed millions of voters' personal information. All that and more next in Tech News Today from Commando.com. First up, some great news for Apple fans. So far, it's been a pretty quiet year for Apple, but that's expected to change very soon, in a big way. Rumors are swirling that a whole new slew of Apple gadgets are making their way to market, starting with a round of 3 new iPhone models. And listen to this, one of them is expected to cost about half the price of last year's iPhone X. So you won't have to shell out over $1,000 for your next Apple gadget. The other two are successors to the iPhone and will have OLED screens, but the Mac lineup may upstage the new iPhones with a bunch of cool upgrades. Updates to the MacBook, iMac, Mac Mini, and the MacBook Air are expected before this year's over, which is great because some of those models have become, frankly, a little stale. The Mac Mini hasn't seen an update since 2014. It seems that pretty much everything Apple will see updates this year, including the Apple Watch, AirPods, and iPads. We should have official word about all of this sometime soon. Apple usually spills the beans in early September, so just 1 or 2 more weeks. We have more tech news just ahead. Right now, a quick thank you to our amazing partners at Dell.
As a business owner, I rely on Dell Small Business Technology Advisors. I'm Kim Commando. Now, you and I both know there's nothing small about our businesses. Our reputation is always on the line, and that's where the Dell Small Business Technology Advisors come in. Reliable Dell PCs with Intel Core processors are rock solid. That means you can focus on getting business done. Call 877-BUY-DELL. That's 1-877-BUY-DELL.
Well, it's happened to all of us. You come to the end of the month and you get your bill from your cell phone provider, and it's way more than you thought it would be because, you've gone way over your data limits. But we have good news. Google has improved a data managing app that will help you stop those overage fees. It's called Detali, and it's just been updated with new features that make it more effective. The first feature is an emergency bank. It's an option to block off some of your data and then save it for those times when you need it the most. Just enter your data's balance and decide how much you want to put into reserve. Detali will keep your apps from using data once you hit that set emergency amount. From that point forward, you decide when to use the data. Overage problem solved. The other new feature is called bedtime mode. It keeps your phone from using data overnight. Many apps actually pull data at night when you're sleeping, unbeknownst to you. With bedtime mode, you can stop them. Simply enter your bedtime and your wake-up time. Detali will then turn off your data usage during that time frame. So this is a pretty good idea if you struggle to keep track of your data on your own. It's a new week, which means another massive data breach has been discovered. This one impacts millions of voters. A New Zealand security researcher stumbled across the exposed online database that holds the information of nearly 15 million voters in Texas. That's almost 75% of all registered voters in the state of Texas. The database contained a treasure trove of historical voting data, including personal information like names, addresses, gender, voting history, and more. Officials don't exactly know when the data was compiled, but it appears to have been set for the 2016 election. This database could be a subset of last year's larger breach when nearly 200 million voters were exposed. We'll keep you posted as we find out more. And this is a big surprise. Verizon has been imposing data restrictions for the first responders on the West Coast. According to a recent report, the telecom company received a huge backlash after people discovered it had been throttling data of firefighters from Santa Clara County. People fired back with so many complaints, they forced Verizon to change its tune. Verizon has promised not to impose data restrictions on first responders. The company also promised to make good with a new plan. just for first responders. For $38 a month, first responders will get unlimited data and priority access on congested networks. The plan also disables throttling for all future responders during emergencies. This is a marked improvement to the fire department's previous plan, which included unlimited data, but was subject to slowdowns when the user reached his or her monthly cap. On the old plan, one firefighter commented, data speeds were similar to using a dial-up modem from the 90s. Most of us remember that. Verizon has since apologized, saying the issue was a customer service error. Here's more bad news for cell phone carriers. A couple of weak passwords, along with easy-to-guess usernames, have given a hacker access to an internal staff portal at Sprint. Making matters worse, the company wasn't using two-factor authentication, so the hacker was able to navigate Sprint's network and access customer account data. Sprint customers weren't the only ones impacted. Customer data from Boost Mobile and Virgin Mobile were also accessed, both are subsidiaries of Sprint. The hacker changed customer plans, swapped devices, placed unwanted ads on accounts, and more. A Sprint spokesperson said they're looking into the issue and have since changed the password associated with the breach. As always, whenever a huge breach has been discovered, there are security precautions you need to take. First and foremost, you need to change your account password immediately. Secondly, keep an eye on your phone statements and bank statements to check for suspicious activity. Well, the war on drugs is still on, and it's recently made its way to the world of technology. Operation Darkness Falls is a joint initiative involving several government agencies that led to some important arrests. For instance, the Department of Justice recently busted a bunch of alleged drug traffickers who were peddling narcotics on the dark web. Officials say they apprehended the most prolific dark fentanyl vendor in the United States and fourth most prolific in the world. Fentanyl is a prescription painkiller that's commonly sold illegally. While that was the most notable arrest made from the sting, there were several others. Some of the arrests have already led to guilty pleas and the seizure of a great deal of money, some of which was in the form of Bitcoin. Well, if you have an interest in video editing, there's a new program that may be perfect for you. DaVinci Resolve 15 was recently launched, and it's considered one of the best video editors out there. In fact, it's regarded as a Hollywood-grade editor, which makes it major competition for the likes of those produced by Adobe and Apple. It costs around $300 for the full version, but there is a stripped-down version which is much cheaper. In fact, it's free. One of the nicest things about DaVinci Resolve is that it makes the entire editing process smooth and quick. Now, granted, the speed is impacted by the power of your computer, so if you have enough juice, you shouldn't get too many hiccups. Like most video editing programs, DaVinci Resolve can be used by both the novice and professional, but if you're thinking about getting into video editing just for fun, the free option is a great way to go. For a more detailed description, go to Komando.com and search for DaVinci Resolve 15. By the way, once you're done listening to our podcast, do us a favor and give us a good rating wherever you're listening. We appreciate it. And finally, for today's Commando Kicker, what comes to mind when you see a package covered in Minnie Mouse wrapping? Well, probably something pretty innocent, like a Barbie doll. Well, you probably wouldn't suspect that the pretty pink packaging contained hard drugs. Well, that is exactly what drug dealer Christopher Kelly was banking on when he tried to outsmart police. But after tracking the Disney prince to his house, officers uncovered over $74,000 in cash and a bundle of cocaine, all wrapped in Minnie Mouse packaging. Mickey would definitely not approve. For more fun and interesting facts, go to Komando.com and search for the Commando Kicker. And that's our tech news today from Komando.com. Special thanks to our partners at SimpliSafe.
Here's some exciting news. As a company, SimpliSafe is now valued at $1 billion. Not only that, more than 2 million homes are now protected with an incredible SimpliSafe system. SimpliSafe is comprehensive protection for your home with round-the-clock professional monitoring that will bring the police anytime there's even the slightest hint of a problem. And SimpliSafe is built for the unexpected. It's loaded with safeguards that keep your system working even during the power and Wi-Fi outages. Even if a burglar smashes your keypad, the police will still be on their way. and the system is so easy to use. It's incredibly intuitive. It takes only minutes to set up in your home. Order your Simply Safe system now. As a listener of the Kim Komando Show, you get free shipping and free returns. Visit simplysafekim.com. simplysafekim.com to protect your home with Simply Safe today. That's simplysafekim.com.